The Industrial Revolution was the introduction of mass manufacturing production from around 1760 to about 1820. It was an increase in population brought by the use of machines and characterized by the use of new energy sources. The Industrial Revolution was responsible for various modern luxuries such as 12 years of free public education, cars, off-season crops, people living in cities instead of farms, etc. And it all started in Great Britain, specifically Manchester.
Great Britain, along with its large population, had an abundance and variety of natural resources. The small island country had water and coal to power machines, iron ore that could be used for tools, rivers for aquatic transportation, and harbors for merchant ship sailors. The economy of the country also proved itself to be stable. British business people developed a banking system that further grew industrialization.
Life in Britain changed drastically due to new industrialization. More money could be earned working in factories. So many farm workers decided to transition. The building of the city and movement of people was known as urbanization.
Job seekers flooded in the cities, causing the construction of new factories and industrial centers. However, the life of the average Industrial Revolution worker was not easy. Due to the rapid growth and development of the city, plans of proper living conditions had not been developed enough to accommodate for the unanticipated amount of people. Food was scarce, and families struggled to provide for themselves. Proper sanitation, adequate housing, education, and protection were not provided, and eventually disease such as cholera began to spread amongst the overcrowded areas. Additionally, working conditions proved to be brutal. Factory owners expected workers to work 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, year-round. Factories were not well lit, and the machines environment of the workplace were dangerous.
From industrialization emerged the middle class. The middle class was a social makeup of skilled workers, professionals, business people, and wealthy farmers. The middle class eventually split into an upper and lower middle class. The upper middle class was made up of government employees, doctors, lawyers, and managers of factories, mines, and shops. The lower middle class was made up of factory overseers and skilled workers such as toolmakers, mechanical drafters, and printers. Some of the middle class grew wealthier than landowners and aristocrats and were considered the social equal of the lords of the countryside.
The strong reaction of the people toward the new machine-based process led to a multitude of great inventions and innovations. Textile innovation, the steam engine, and railroads resulted from the reaction of the people toward the revolution.
The cotton and textile industry led the early Industrial Revolution. Cotton was cheaper and more comfortable than woolen clothes, creating a high demand for cotton in Britain. India started the textile industry, and Britain invested money into machines to increase production. Textile machines included the spinning mule and the cotton gin. The spinning mule, invented by Samuel Crompton in 1779, allowed for thread to be spun into stronger, finer, and more consistent material. The cotton gin, invented by Eli Whitney in 1793, more efficiently cleaned cotton seeds from the raw cotton.
Steam engines and railroad systems allowed for more efficient and longer transportation routes. English engineer Richard Trevithick formulated a steam-driven locomotive that was able to haul 10 tons of iron along 10 miles of land. This sparked a domino effect of several other engineers improving his machine, the most successful one being George Stephenson. Stephenson went on to build the world's first railroad line in 1821.
The U.S. possessed the same resources that had allowed it to mechanize its industries, and Britain's blockade, which prevented the U.S. from importing manufactured goods, caused the U.S. to use its resources to develop independent industries. Like Great Britain, industrialization started in the U.S. in the textile industry. Samuel Slater, a British mill worker who emigrated to the U.S., built spinning machines from memory, and Moses Brown opened a factory to house Slater's machines.
Clothing manufacturing and shoemaking also went through mechanization. The U.S. experienced a technological boom in the last third of the 1800s because there was a wealth of natural resources. Railroads allowed goods to be sold all throughout the nation. Railroads required a good deal of money. To raise money, stock was sold and corporations were established.
Continental Europe's industrialization started in Belgium. Like Britain and the U.S., Belgium had plentiful natural resources and fine waterways. William Cockerell, a carpenter, made his way into Belgium in 1799, carrying plans for spinning machinery. His son eventually built an enormous industrial enterprise which produced steam engines and locomotives. British workers moved to Belgium and established their own companies in Belgium. Industrialization soon spread to the rest of Europe. Bulgaria set up spinning industries. Catalonia, Spain established the cotton industry. Moscow and St. Petersburg built factories, and North Italy had a textile industry specifically for silk.
Germany copied the British model by importing British equipment and engineers, as well as sending their children to England to learn industrial management. Various industries spread from Germany, and its economy eventually grew in power to the point of which it had the power to develop a military power. France's industrial growth, unlike Britain, was steady because of its strong agricultural economy. After 1850, the government began railroad construction, which caused a national market for new French products to thrive. The social structure, such as that of Austria-Hungary, prevented further industrialization in Europe.
The Industrialization revolutionized every aspect of society, from daily life to life expectancy. Despite hardships of early urban workers, population, health, and wealth eventually rose dramatically in all industrialized countries. The industrialized revolution shifted the world balance of power. It increased competition between industrialized nations and poverty in less developed nations. Poor countries were considered by industrialized nations to be markets for manufactured goods. Imperialism spurred from industrialization's needs for resources.